Hey there everyone, welcome back to Valentine, and my name is David, and today we're going to be doing another Fast 5, and I know it's kind of hard to take me seriously with these glasses on, but I will take them off soon. And today's Fast 5 is going to be for the Valentine's holiday. Now, my credentials for this one is games that you can kind of play with your partner, and normally it's going to be in a kind of double date situation. I am going to make a list where you can play two-player games with your significant other, and that will be later down the line. But this one, I really kind of want to center on like a double date situation, so there's going to be a lot of party games, and I did my best to try to keep with the Valentine's Day theme. Hearts and flowers, though that was kind of harder than I thought it would be, so making this list was a bit more challenging, and you might see some games that are kind of a stretch when it comes to the Valentine's Day theme. But remember, I'm trying to really hone in on games that strengthen your relationship with your partner and or can be a good game for a double date situation. So before I do that, I want to go over my two honorable mentions. Now again, these are kind of a stretch, which is why they didn't make the list. The first one is King of Tokyo. Now again, it is a stretch. There are hearts on the dice, and that's about as far as Valentine's Day goes for that game. I just think it's a fun party game, and it's a good dice roller, and I think anyone can play it. So couples would get into it, and you can see how violent your partner is when it comes to, doing damage if they roll a lot of claws. The next honorable mention is Council of Verona. Now this one is again a stretch. It didn't make the list, but you can play out the romantic story of Romeo and Juliet in your head, but that's where it stops. The game mechanisms really don't have anything to do with the Romeo and Juliet story, but they're in it. So those are my two honorable mentions. Now let's get to the list and start with number 5. Let's go. So as you know, Fast Fives are where I have a minute to talk about a game and then we move on, just so I get the word of mouth out, and I might have a review, I might not. I'm going to be pulling some of the games if I have them to show them off, but if I don't, I'll show pictures. So the number 5 in the list, of course, I was hard pressed not to put this game on the list, and it is Love Letter. Now there are tons of copies. I have 2 of them myself, and this is the Batman Love Letter, but I would recommend the traditional Love Letter. This is the one where you're trying to get the prince's favor and then eventually try to marry her. It's a micro game, and it's great for a 4-player setup, again a double date setup, and it's very easy to teach. And there are flowers, and there's great art in this game, and this is done by AEG, and again they have a whole bunch. There's a Hobbit, there's a 5 Tribes one, so you can go with any of those, but my recommendation, if you have some free time on Valentine's Day, go with the traditional Love Letter. And I always have fun with this game. I have some of these little heart meeples that I got from Broken Token. You can also find some heart ones from Meeple Source. They come with little squares, so if you have these, it's really gonna kind of up the Valentine's Day theme, but that's really where the bulk of it is in these heart tokens. So that was Love Letter, and that was my number 5. So let's go on to number 4. Alright, so number 4 is my bluffing game for the list, and this one is Skulls. Now it's also known as Skull and Roses, and the second rendition is this one. It's the Day of the Dead. Now again, this is kind of a stretch, but you can find out how good your partner is at lying by playing this tiny, fast bluffing game, and you can have some pretty cool flowers and stuff like that. So this is where the Valentine's Day theme kind of sticks in, I guess. I know it's a stretch, but there are really nicely done art of the flowers and the skulls, and basically you're just trying to find flowers if you are challenged and you're betting and you win, and if you're able to succeed, you're able to get one round won, and you need 2 of those to actually ultimately win the game. And you'll be bluffing and trying to misdirect your partner and or your partner's friends and your friends by putting skulls down, and if they flip over a skull, they lose a coaster and they don't win that round. And you got to continue to play this until one person ultimately wins 2 rounds of finding just flowers if they bet like 3 and they find 3. So that is Skull. It used to be known as Skull and Roses. So if you can find this game, I think this is a good filler to, add to your Valentine's Day festivities. Let's go on to number 3 now. So number 3 doesn't have any kind of Valentine's Day theme to it, though it does have some pink and purple in there, I think. But I think this does good for a Valentine's Day game because you can really tap into your partner's ESP if you've built that. And this one is the newer game, Codenames. Now this is like Password meets Battleships. You're gonna lay it out some cards and they have words on them, and you are a team of spies, and you want to try to give clues to your partner and then give them a number, and that's how many guesses they get. And then if they successfully guess right, they can continue to go. But if they pick the wrong card, they could give your opponent points. Now your goal is to try to get rid of all your blue or red tokens, and the first person to do that wins. And it's really that simple, but I think this is a good one to bust out during Valentine's Day because you really don't have much time. You really want to go out and have a romantic evening with your partner. So if you're able to, you know, shave off a little free time and go play a game with your friends, I think this is a good one, even if it's not Valentine's Day themed, because you really can do a good job if you have a great partner, and normally your romantic partner is going to be a good one, right? Or at least it should be. And this is a good game to, you know, play on Valentine's Day, even though it doesn't have flowers or hearts. So that was Codenames. The number 2 is coming up on the list. Let's go. Alright, so number 2 definitely has a Valentine's Day theme to it, because basically all it is hearts. Now this one is from R&R Games, and it is called Hearts of Attraction. I'm going to keep this away from my phone because all these pieces in here are magnetic. And they had a game called Attraction where they had magnets just like these, but now they turned them into hearts. And this is just a light, fun kind of game where you're sliding magnets, trying to get clusters, and I love the aspect of games with magnets. I've kind of been a fan of that. I like to kind of manipulate them and see how far I can press it until they stick or they push away. And simply that's what you're doing. You're just flicking these tiny little hearts and you're trying to get clusters and get the most hearts. The person with the most hearts at the end of the game is the winner. And I think with the hearts, Valentine's Day theme is nailed there. Now I did add a special little spice up to it where I took some of these tiny little magnets that I got from the flea market and I make them, I consider them as negative points, and I put them as like mines or bombs on the table. So you can play with advanced things. This game is really wide open if you have different kind of magnets like that. So I like Hearts of Attraction. That's why it is number 2 on the Valentine's Day list. Now let's go to number 1, and then you can see what game won out overall. Let's go. Okay, so number 1, I picked this game because I think it is a great game to build your relationship, and why not have it on the Valentine's list? And of course it's going to be number 1. Now this might be an odd pick because you might not have heard this one. I don't have the physical copy, but my family does, and I've played it a few times that way. And this one is called Compatibility. Now this is an old school game, came out during like Trivia Pursuit age and whatnot, and it's kind of in the same vein as that. It's a party game, but you have a handful of pictures or reactions, and you will get in teams with your partner, and you will pick a subject, like it picks marriage. If you pick marriage on the card, you will have to pick some of these reactions, 3 of them, and put them face down in front of you, and your partner has the same reactions or the pictures as you do, and if they pick the exact same pictures, you will get points and move along this board. Now the main game is, well, the end game is to try to get to the end red circle and you are the winner. Now the way that you score is if you have the same pictures in the alignment, like you put the from the top what you think marriage means to you, like a baby or a flower or whatever, and then if they match the same one in alignment, they get 3 points. But if they match it in a different alignment, they think it's lower on their scale, they will get 2 points. I'm going to continue to talk. I don't care about that buzzer. So this one is this one is a good one to really figure out what your partner thinks about marriage, or what they think about their career goals, or what they'll think about in 5 years. You can really get tells on that without having to ask these specific questions, and it really is, it's organic and genuine. And it's not one of those party games where you bicker or anything like that. You just go, huh, I didn't know you thought that. So I think Compatibility is a perfect number 1 for the Valentine's Day Fast 5 list, and that's why I picked it. So thank you so much for joining me in today's Fast 5. I hope it was informational, and if you want to see any of the reviews that I did for the games I picked, I have a few of them, like Love Letter, and you can go watch that. That was my very first review. You can see how terrible I was back then, or who's to say I'm still not terrible. So with that being said, tell me how wrong I am in the comments below, or tell me if you think my selection was the right one to go with, or give me some of your suggestions because I would love to hear them so I can play them with my wife that loves to play games as well. That would be super fantastic. So until the next time that I see you, I've been Dave, and have a great rest of your day and a great time with all that you play. You heard it here on the Game Vine. Happy Valentine's Day, everybody. Bye!